In this video, we are looking at a self-published children's picture book author who is absolutely crushing it on Amazon. I'm talking about someone who has built a powerful brand, generated impressive royalties, and created a self-publishing business that continues to grow year after year. If you're serious about building a sustainable long-term income from children's picture books, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Hi, welcome to Self-Publishing Central. My name is Caroline, and every single week I share real strategies, case studies, and behind-the-scenes tips to help you build a thriving self-publishing business. Let's talk about what it takes to build a thriving children's picture book business, not as a traditionally published author, but as a self-publisher. And to do that, I want to introduce you to someone who has totally dominated the children's picture book space on Amazon, Diane Alba. Now, if you have ever considered self-publishing children's picture books, or if you already do, this video is going to show you what is possible. We're going to be diving into royalty estimates, book sales, what makes her books so successful, how she built a brand with multiple best-selling series, and most importantly, what you can learn from it. Because Diane's story isn't about getting lucky or going viral. This is about building a business, a long-term intentional self-publishing brand. And you can totally use the same strategies to build your own. So, who is Diane Alba? Diane Alba is a self-published children's author and illustrator who started publishing her books around 2018. And since then, she's published dozens of books across multiple series that regularly hit the bestseller lists on Amazon. If you go to her Amazon author page right now, you will see multiple books ranking in the top 2, 3, 4, 5,000 overall on Amazon. That's not just in the top children's books, that's across all books on Amazon. She is the author behind best-selling titles like A Little Spot of Emotion, It's Not Just a Scribble, A Little Spot Learns Online, A Little Spot of Anxiety, and she doesn't have just one bestseller. She has an entire series of books that parents, teachers, and therapists rave about. Books that address big emotions, kindness, friendship, creativity, and really important social, emotional learning topics in ways that are fun and relatable for kids. In fact, let's go through and take a look at her books and her series. So she currently has 169 paperback books published. If you are new to self-publishing or you haven't yet created your first children's picture book but want to, please don't let this number of books overwhelm you. This is an established self-publisher and an established brand that has been running for a good few years. She started with just one book, just like everybody else, and has built up to this. And so you can hopefully just use it as inspiration or motivation, as something that you could work towards too, if that is what you wanted. So we have a book called Emotions Aquarium, a tank full of feelings, and this is part of a series called Emotions Aquarium, which has a total of 9 books in it. Then we have Never Let a Unicorn Wear a Tutu, which is part of another series called Funny Unicorn Picture Books, and this series has a total of 7 books in it. Then we have A Little Spot of Anger, which comes from again, another series, this one called A Little Spot. Now, this one has 56 different books within this series. The next book that we've got is called Purple Space Chickens. Now, this one is also part of a series. This one is more of a children's chapter book. So for kids a little bit older, and we've got 4 different books in this series. The first book that I pulled up, Emotions Aquarium, this is one of her best-selling books. And if we just take a quick look inside of it just to see what kind of illustrations have we got, what's the story like, we can't see inside, unfortunately. We can only look at these photos here. So let's see what the inside's like. So it looks like each page is sort of laid out the same. We've got the story on the left-hand side and an image on the right-hand side. And this is beautifully illustrated, but as you can see, it's not really detailed and really intricate like you do see in some children's picture books. But that's the great thing about children's picture books is kids, they don't really care. As long as the drawings are cute and fun and bright or colorful, or makes them feel a certain way, that's all they care about. The next one that we've got is Never Let a Unicorn Wear a Tutu. Let's take a look at the illustrations inside of this one. So this one's just really plain. It's very minimalistic. There is minimal color and the illustrations are really simple but quite cute with the pops of color. And we'll take a look at one more, A Little Spot of Anger, because this series is also one of her best-selling series. And this is very similar to the unicorn book. It is very plain, white background on every page and just pops of color here or there. 2D line drawings, nothing that a lot of people couldn't do, really, to be honest. These aren't the kind of illustrations that have to be done by a professional or by a really, really skilled illustrator. And even if you did feel like you had to hire somebody to help you do the illustrations, these types of illustrations could be fairly affordable considering how minimalistic they are. So let's talk about numbers. How many books are selling and what kind of income is Diane Alba likely earning from all of this? Now, of course, we do not have access to her exact royalty statements. She may not be printing these through Amazon KDP, but we can make educated estimates based on rankings, so bestseller rankings and book prices. So here's what we know. Many of her books are consistently ranked in very low bestseller ranks, which means they are selling consistently and they are in demand. The Emotions Aquarium book, A Tank Full of Feelings, is currently sitting with a bestseller rank of 3,900. The Never Let a Unicorn Wear a Tutu book is currently sitting at 6,600. A Little Spot of Anger has a bestseller rank of 9,767. And the Purple Space Chickens book, which is the chapter book for some of the older kids, is sitting just under 14,000. When we go through her books, they are mostly priced between $9.99 and $11.99 for paperbacks, but are mostly around $11.99. Now, although this person is a self-publisher, she may be getting her books printed herself elsewhere, not having them printed through Amazon KDP, which is how she creates these bundles of books. We can't do this through Amazon KDP, but if she gets them printed through her own manufacturer, then she can create these kinds of things. And it's a big reason why some people do get their books printed elsewhere, so that they have a lot more control over the types of books, the quality of the books, and how they can create these kinds of bundles. But if you were publishing these books through Amazon KDP, then Amazon pays about $2.25 to $3 in royalties per sale at this price point. I'm going to pop over to the Kindlepreneur book sales calculator, and if we put in the bestseller rank 3,900, it's got 32 pages selling for $11.99. The first book, which is the Emotions Aquarium, is selling around 800 copies per month, and in terms of royalties, that comes out to be estimated at $2,800 per month for that one book. So she has a lot of books. So I'm just going to look at maybe the top 10 of her books, the top 10 best-selling books. I popped in the bestseller rank, the amount of pages, and the sales price for the top 10 of her books. When we total these top 10 books up, they're selling approximately 4,000 copies per month, which means royalties would be estimated to be around $16,000 in 1 month from just 10 books. And remember, she has hundreds of these books. And so maybe when we do look at these books individually, you could think, well, actually that book doesn't do that well. It only sells a few hundred copies each month. But what I'm hoping that this really shows is the power of creating a brand and creating series, and how each book builds on the rest. And as you build your brand more and more, and as you add more books to your series, or you create more series and you publish more books, your income grows along with it. And remember, she has hundreds of books and dozens of series. I've looked at just 10 of her books. Some of them are in bundles, which do sell very well. This wasn't factored in to those royalties that we just estimated. Some are hardcover, some are digital. She also has direct sales, box sets, and other income streams through Kickstarter and through her website. So she has taken this beyond just books. She has branched out into complementary products, and it's very likely that Diane Alba is consistently earning $50,000 or more per month, and that is very possible that is even on the low end. Now, why do her books sell so well? This is where it starts to get really exciting, because Diane's success isn't about going viral or publishing something and just hoping for the best. It's about strategy. So let's break down the key reasons her books are so successful. She found a powerful niche: social emotional learning. One of the biggest things that Diane nailed from the very beginning is picking the right niche. She chose topics that parents, educators, and therapists are actively searching for, and that is social emotional learning. When I talk about picture books, I talk about there being two different ways that you can go with children's stories. You can write about absolutely nothing. Doesn't teach anything, doesn't have any kind of deep emotional meaning or anything about morals or life lessons. It could just be a story that's fun or funny or just has cute characters, or it's about farting. Or you can go down the path of creating stories that teach something meaningful, some big life lesson or something like that. And that's what Diane has done here. Her Little Spot series helps kids understand emotions like anger, anxiety, empathy, confidence, and so many more different emotions. These are the kind of books schools recommend. Therapists use them in sessions. Parents buy the whole series, not just one book. This is a niche with ongoing year-round demand, and she has positioned herself as the go-to author for this topic. Next, her books are designed for repeats and collections. Diane doesn't just sell individual books. She sells series. She has multiple different series, and that is a huge advantage. Kids fall in love with one character, like the Little Spot, and then they want more. Parents want the complete set. If kids are learning about one emotion, parents want them to learn about all emotions, and teachers want a full collection for in their classroom. This kind of repeat purchase behavior is how you create long-term consistent income. It also means that her marketing efforts are more efficient and effective. Once someone has bought one book and they like it, they are more likely to buy the rest. Next up, she solves real problems. Diane's books are entertaining, yes. That's how you get the kids interested, but more importantly, they solve problem. A parent whose child struggles with anxiety will buy A Little Spot of Anxiety. A teacher who wants to teach their kids kindness will buy A Little Spot of Kindness. Her books aren't about just creating a story. Her books are tools, they're resources, and that makes them valuable. Next up, simple, recognizable illustrations. Her books are full of simple, colorful characters, often just little blobs with eyes and expressions, yet kids love them. You don't need to be a master illustrator to create appealing characters. What matters most is personality, clarity, and consistency. And this simplicity makes the books so easy to replicate across a series. It also makes them ideal for merchandise, which she now also sells. She has built a brand, not just books. And this might be the most important piece. Diane isn't just publishing random children's picture books. She's building an ecosystem. She has multiple series. She is targeting multiple ages of children. Her characters appear across different products. She engages her audience on social media and YouTube. She has her own website where she sells directly. She even offers companion coloring books and teacher resources. This kind of long-term thinking is what separates possibly making an income from one random book from building a sustainable long-term business. All right, let's talk about what you can take from all of this and actually apply to your own self-publishing journey. Picking a niche with purpose is really, really important, especially if you do want to create these kinds of books that teach something, that are full of emotion or are full of life lessons and morals. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Pick a niche that has consistent demand, solves a problem, and allows for multiple books around that same theme. Diane didn't try to write every type of children's book. She carved out a space for herself in social emotional learning, and she has now made herself the go-to author and self-publisher in it. It's also incredibly important to think in terms of a series from the very start. Even if you are starting with that one book, before you even start writing that first book, think ahead and think about, can this book be part of a series? What other titles, what other stories can I create to be a part of this series? If you can build a series, you open the door to repeat customers, bundled offers, merchandise, and even licensing and classroom sales. One of the biggest roadblocks that people come up against is the cost of having their book professionally illustrated. But please remember, we have talked about this a couple times in this video already. You don't need complex illustrations. Diane's characters are simple. They're not heavily detailed or intricate. You don't need to hire a professional artist who charges thousands of dollars to get started publishing your own books. Perhaps down the road, if you do want to get into that, that is fine. But to get started, if that is holding you back, then you're going to have to change your mindset around the fact that you have to have a professionally illustrated book and start looking at how you can do it yourself. I have so many videos on my channel showing successful children's picture books that have very simple, very minimalistic illustrations in them. Just focus on creating characters that are relatable, consistent across books, and easy for kids to connect with. Start with Amazon, but build beyond it. Amazon is always going to be where you will make most of your sales. It's where Diane got her start. It's where pretty much every self-publisher gets their start. And it is still where a huge portion of her sales come from, but she did not stop there. She sells her books on her own website. So she expanded into finding her own manufacturer to print her books so that she can sell them on her website and she can sell them in bundles and box sets. While Amazon KDP is great, having your own manufacturer gives you much more control over the quality of your book. She also runs Kickstarters. This means that she can see what projects her audience and her customers want, and they can actually buy before she has to spend money on having them created. She offers digital products and additional stream of income for products that have no upfront cost, as they do not need to be printed. Your profit margins on digital products are so much bigger because you're not providing a physical product. She's built a YouTube channel which has a really decent amount of subscribers, nearly 140,000 subscribers, and she has also created a social media presence. This means she has a huge group of people interested in the things that she is selling and that she can market to whenever she has new products launching, and she no doubt has a sizable email list that she can also directly market to for any of her products. Use simple marketing that works. Diane's marketing isn't any different or unique from anyone else's, and it is not something that only a few people can do. Anyone can do this. She focuses on showing her books in action, in classrooms, in kids' hands, in real-world situations. On social media, she shares read-alouds, teachers' testimonials, and behind-the-scenes content. And because her books are genuinely useful, her audience shares them naturally. That's the power of solving a real problem. Now, I want to pause here and say something important. If you are watching this and you're feeling overwhelmed, thinking that you need to have 50 books, a full merchandise line, a big YouTube channel, and direct sales from your own website just to make money, breathe. You do not need all of that right now. Diane didn't start with a Kickstarter or a full collection or a full brand, and neither did any other author or self-publisher out there. She started with one book. Your job is to take the first step, then build from there. This is a long game. And if you play it with intention, you can build a sustainable income like she has. Diane Elba is proof that self-publishing can be more than just a side hustle. It can be a thriving business, a creative outlet, a way to make a real impact. If you're ready to start your own children's picture book journey or take it to the next level, use this case study as your blueprint. And remember, every empire starts with just one book. If you did enjoy this video, YouTube thinks that you might like these ones too. So please go check them out to learn more about self-publishing your own books on Amazon KDP. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.